Hey everyone, welcome back to Ragtag Stacking. In today's video, I want to talk a little bit about some questions you should be asking yourself before buying gold and silver. So if you've been watching my channel for any amount of time, you do know that I like to pick up both gold and silver. At the moment, I only have fractional gold. I haven't pulled the trigger on a 1 ounce gold coin yet. And I am also looking to do a gold-silver ratio trade when it gets down close to 60 to 1. I'll probably break a little bit before that, like 61, 62, because I've been waiting for the longest time to do it. But I will be looking to make a trade on the GSR when the ratio gets to where I want it. But yes, I do like to stack silver and gold, and I've been doing it for a little while now, just since right around the start of 2020. So I'm not a veteran at it at all by any means, but I do like to look and educate myself on the subject any way that I can. And I came across this article that was talking about 5 questions that you should be asking yourself before buying gold and silver. And I thought, just looking at a lot of the comments that I've been receiving, and just a lot of traffic on the channel is from new people getting into stacking. I know that there's that whole Wall Street silver stuff and the Reddit community, and it seems to be trickling over into YouTube with people watching some stacking channels. So it's always good, as I said, to do your homework and look into things before you jump into doing a purchase or making a purchase. And I think this article may help with that for old and new stackers. You know what I mean? It never hurts to get a little bit of advice, even if after reading it you're like, okay, it makes sense. I kind of knew all that already. But as I said, for some viewers, this will be the first time seeing it. So yeah, that's the article that I want to show you here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump onto the computer and just quickly go over some of these questions. Okay, so this is the article here. It says 5 questions to ask yourself before buying precious metals. So I'm just going to skip over this introductory paragraphs here. I will leave a link in the description if you want to read through it, but I'm going to go right down to the first questions here. And it says, what is the best way to invest in precious metals? So it says you can invest in precious metals by buying the physical metal or through financial products such as gold exchange traded funds, ETFs. And it says each method has advantages and disadvantages. So I'm just going to skim through this one because there are 5 questions and some of them go into a little bit more detail that I like to go over. But this one can basically be summed up as, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. That's one of the main benefits of having the physical stuff is, it's yours. You don't have the ETFs where there's the paper is 250 to 1, where you have 250 people actually staking a claim to the 1 ounce and all that stuff. That's good for some people, not for me. I like the physical side because I have a secure place to put it. I have a nice safe. I don't mind having the weights set aside. For me, I like stacking, but for some people, they don't want that hassle and they just want to have the ETFs. That's up to them. But you got to remember, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. So just they have the key takeaways here. Obviously, it says investors can expose themselves with the physical or the ETFs, but down here is the main takeaway. With precious metal ETFs, you don't actually own the metal. So if you want it physically in your hands, obviously the best way to go is just with picking up the physical bullion and coins and not going the ETF route. But like I said, that's not for everyone. That's the way I've been doing it, but there are some people that do like playing the ETFs as well. Number 2, should I buy gold bullion or silver bullion? For me, if you've been watching my video for any amount of time, I do both. While both gold and silver have attractive features, gold is the better investment for average precious metal investors. Gold has a much larger liquid market that is driven mostly by investment and jewelry demand. The price of gold is less volatile than that of silver too. Meanwhile, silver is more speculative and has a stronger relationship to economic activity. This is because silver has many industrial uses. As such, silver can be attractive during down cycles when the price of metals is cheap. So yes, that makes sense. They don't really get into the premiums with the physical stuff because gold and silver, they do have those premiums. And if you start at the 1 ounce for let's say 1 ounce of gold or 1 ounce of silver, let's just think of those as the baselines of your premium. For most people, 1 ounce of gold is a little bit out of their price range, so they have to go with the fractional. So the smaller you go, the more the premiums go up. You know what I mean? So if you can only afford a 1/10 ounce or a gram, you're going to be paying a lot more premiums than if you were to buy that 1 ounce of gold. And now with silver, when you start with that baseline of 1 ounce, that's pretty much the highest premiums you'll see. And then you can go up from there. And the higher you go up with silver, the lower the premiums go. So, you know, for some people, if you're in the market for, you know, once a month buying up a 1 ounce gold bullion coin, I mean, good for you. It's not where my stacking strategy or budget is at, but it's a very, very good thing for people that can afford to do that, because, you know, it's obviously less premium if you're going with the 1 ounce gold bullion versus a 1 ounce silver bullion, or, you know what I mean? And also they didn't touch on gold being obviously a lot denser and more efficient to stack. When you're looking at the gold to silver ratio is right around that 67-1. So 1 ounce of, you got to look at 1 ounce of gold to 67 ounces of bullion. You can see the footprint that the silver takes up and the footprint that the gold takes up. So if you don't have a lot of space in your house, you know what I mean, you got like 4 kids, no spare spaces to go, whatever it is, gold might be better for you to stack, just because it takes up that much less of a footprint when you need to, you know, throw it into a safe or make sure it's securely put away. Definitely gold would be, you know, more dense and easier to hide than with silver, where you're, you know, realistically going to be ending up with hundreds. A lot of, you know, stackers' goals is to get 1,000 ounces, so it definitely adds up. Bullion bars, bullion coins, which are better as an investment? So it says bullion coins such as the gold eagle are the best type of precious metals for investors. This is because sovereign coins are easily recognizable, easy to trade, and generally sell at a higher premium than bars. You can buy smaller bullion bars such as a 1 ounce bullion bar, but they tend to be harder to sell back and the transaction costs are higher. For institutional buyers or those looking to buy very large quantities of precious metals, large bullion bars are more sensible option due to their lower premiums. So yes, it makes sense. You know, if you're just if you're just one guy looking to get into precious metals and stuff like that, and you happen to have, you know, let's just say up in Canada, it's like right around that 86,000 for a kilo of gold. You can go ahead and pull the trigger on picking up a kilo of gold, but it's going to be a lot harder come, you know, time to sell or liquidate it, to find a buyer for that, to find someone that will be giving you any sort of premium on it. When you look, the kilo bars basically don't have any premium on it. So when you're looking to sell, you might even get a little bit below spot for some of that, because it's going to be a lot harder for anyone to move this. So with here, they're basically just touching on gold. And with gold, it makes sense because not a lot of people are in the market for a kilo gold bar. But just looking at silver, where you do have those realistic different sizes, where, you know, it's not out of the normal to see someone walking in with a 10-ounce silver bar or a kilo silver bar. Those are a little bit easier to move just because of the price point. You know what I mean? Silver is cheaper. So with those different sizes and everything, obviously with the silver coins, you still have that recognizability from it being backed by a sovereign nation. But the generic silver stuff, like the bars and rounds, you're going to be paying less of a premium, and the difference that you get when you're looking to liquidate it or sell it isn't as huge as when you're trying to sell one of those big gold bars. So what are the best bullion? And number 4, what are the best bullion coins to buy? I live in North America, so it says for North American investors, it says the eagle and the maple leaf, both silver and gold, are some of the best coins to buy. Then it says for investors in Europe, it also suggests the eagle. The eagle is going to be worldwide. It's the most recognizable and most popular coin. But for Europe, the eagle and the Philharmonic, both gold and silver, are good for that. And the South African Krugerrand is another good example for investors. And up here in Canada, the Krugerrands and the British Britannias, those seem to be the lowest premiums. They're very close to even some of the generic rounds that I see are priced right around where the Krugerrands and Britannias are. And it says the gold version is minted in 91.7% gold, just like the gold eagles. So they're 22 karat instead of 24 karat. It says other gold coins to buy that are reasonably liquid include the Australian Kangaroo and the Britannia. And like you saw in the beginning of my video there in the little intro, I showed off both my fractional Kangaroos and the fractional Britannias that I have. Says investors should stay away from sovereign coins from lesser countries. Lesser known countries. Sorry. They should also steer clear of special edition commemorative sovereign coins. These coins are usually more expensive to buy and resell for less than the better known coins. So key takeaways, they basically just pulled sentences from the paragraph there, so I'm not going to reread it. They're not really recapping, they're basically just copying and pasting. So, and then the last question here, what is the best place to buy precious metals? It says the best way to buy precious metals is through an online dealer that offers a buy and store program with non-bank London bullion market. Now, I don't agree with this. For me, I know a lot of people, they're preppers and stuff like that, so they have their bug out bags and they need to have their silver and gold as close as possible, so they can just grab it and go. But there are some people that, aren't necessarily preppers and don't need to have their silver in that much of a rush, and they don't have the room, but they want to have the physical stuff. They will, purchase it and have it stored with a third party or something like that. I know for some people, they're shaking their heads saying, there's no way I would do that. That's fine. I wouldn't do it. I'm not going to store my stuff with a third party place. But, there is that option. I don't think it's the best way to go. I always think the best way is to buy the physical stuff and have it in your possession. But at least this is better than just having the paper ETFs. You actually do have the metals and it is yours, but you're going to be paying that third party to store it for you. It says investors should avoid taking physical possession of their gold and silver unless they believe there is an emergency. It's much safer to have your bullion stored in a secure vault. It's also more easier to sell your metals that are stored in a secure vault because you don't break the chain of custody. Now, again, they're saying that this is the best way. I wouldn't say that it's the best way for me or for a lot of stackers. So yes, like I said, I kind of disagree with this point here, but I don't think that you should just have your physical gold and silver in your hands because of an emergency. I always think it's just, it's good to keep it out of the general public, you know what I mean? I'm sure that once you bring it to that third party, you're going to have to fill out some paperwork and it's going to be known that, blah, 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 your name, it's associated with that, blah, blah, blah has blank amount of gold and blank amount of silver and it's on record. People don't want that. So for some people, like I said, in certain scenarios, it does make sense for them to store it not in their house and just go, off base from their house. But for me, I'd like to have it in my possession, and I've done the best I can to secure it and make sure that it's, in a secure, safe place. And I think I've done a good job of that. So yes, with the key takeaways there, it says the best place to buy precious metals is through the online dealer. They're saying that. I don't believe that. There's plenty of other places that are just as good, and you'll be probably getting better deals, say at a local coin shop where you've been going there for years and the local coin shop owner. They're suggesting the online dealers are the best because they're also saying that the best way to have the metals is off-site in a vault that you obviously will probably have to be paying at least some sort of fee to store. They're not just going to do it for free. And then final thoughts, it says every investor's portfolio should contain an allocation of precious metals. You've taken the first step towards ensuring your financial future by reading this primer on how to buy precious metals. With all of the uncertainty in today's global economy, it has never been more important to diversify and add the security of physical precious metals to your investment strategy. So yeah, that was the article there. I just wanted to go there. It caught my eye, and I see here that it's a little bit older. It's from 2018, but it's not something that's topical. It's not something that's timely. It's can be used today just like it could have been used 3 years ago. It's not something that is time sensitive, so I thought it'd be a good idea to talk about it anyways. And like always, I will leave a link in the article if you do want to read through the entire thing yourself. So yeah, that was the article there. I hope you guys enjoyed reading it. For some people, it might just be common sense things there, but for a lot of people that are just getting into it, it's always good to know some of the questions that you should be thinking, and don't just jump into a purchase without thinking through all of the factors and everything like that. And as I said, it was 5 questions that I found interesting, but the 5th one I did disagree with the best way to buy. They suggested was going through the online bullion dealers that have a buy in store option. And I know for a lot of people that watch my videos and comment, they want nothing to do with those third-party storage places. So for people that are stacking as preppers, or worried about that SHTF situation, when the SHTF actually happens, they don't want to be making all these extra stops to all their places where they have their stack, stack over here, then they got to go across town to the next third-party place. They want to have it in their possession so that when time comes to bug out or whatever it is, they can just grab and go. They don't have to make extra stops. Yes, for some people it makes sense that they don't want to have it in there and they're not looking to prep. They're just looking to diversify their portfolio, and they don't want to go through everything of having the safe in their house or whatever it is, whatever their reasons are. They don't physically want to have it in their house. Then yeah, sure, you can. There's plenty of options for you to buy your physical stuff and then store it with off-site from your house. But for me, that's not something that I'm looking to get into, and I don't agree that that's the best way to do it. It's a way to do it, but it's not the best way to do it, I don't think. But anyways, that's it for today's video. Let me know in the comments if this helped you at all. As I said, I do know that from interacting with a lot of people, there are a fair amount of new people that are into the stacking. So I thought this would be interesting. And for anyone that's been doing it for any amount of time, like I said, it's never a bad thing to just kind of brush up on the fundamentals. But yeah, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you come back for the next one. Thank you.